You know what? Monday, November 24th could end up being absolutely legendary for XRP spot trading. And I'm not throwing that word around lightly. We've got Grayscale and Franklin Templeton both making their move into the spot market at the same time. So naturally, you're sitting there thinking, how is this going to impact my XRP position? But wait, there's more to this story. Could we already be witnessing some serious activity bubbling up in the futures market right now? All right, I'm going to piece this whole puzzle together for you so nothing catches you off guard. Monday XRP ETF acquisition projection. Check out what tomorrow's looking like based on these projections. Canary is expected to grab 5 million XRP. Bitwise is targeting 5 million XRP as well. Now here's where it gets interesting. Grayscale is going after a whopping 24 million XRP, and Franklin Templeton is shooting for 15 million XRP. When you total everything up, we're staring at 50 million XRP getting pulled out of the market tomorrow. Hold up, what? Yeah, that's genuinely wild when you actually process those numbers. And listen, I understand why everyone's confused about the dates right now. Franklin Templeton already kicked things off on SIBO back on the 18th, so people are naturally wondering, okay then, what exactly is happening on the 24th? Let me untangle this mess for you. I actually had to fact check Perplexity myself because even the AI bungled this one. Thank goodness I'm staying sharp and paying close attention. It fed me some data and my brain immediately went, nope, that's definitely incorrect. And to its credit, Perplexity came back with, you're spot on for catching that. Here's what's actually going on. Franklin XRP ETF XRP from Franklin Templeton launched and began trading on CBOE BZX on Tuesday, November 18th. Separately, the New York Stock Exchange Acura has approved both Franklin Templeton XRP and Grayscale's GXRP Spot XRP ETF, with trading for both expected being on Monday, November 24th. So let's talk scale for a second. SIBO, that's operating in the billions. Decent, but not exactly massive. Now flip over to the New York Stock Exchange and you're looking at around 30 trillion. That's not a typo. The difference in market access between those two, it's absolutely enormous. And here's what I'm expecting. We're probably going to see some explosive trading days as we cruise into Thanksgiving week. But here's the catch, and don't forget this part. Markets are going to be shut down on Thanksgiving Day itself. Why? Because we've left the crypto world behind where everything runs 24/7, never sleeps, always open. We're playing in the stock market sandbox now. That means holiday closures are back on the table. So what happens with all this XRP action on Thanksgiving and Black Friday? Honestly, I have no clue yet, but I'm definitely not leaving you hanging. You'll get updates from me throughout the entire week. Vacation? Not even on my radar. I'm planted right here at my desk, ready to break down everything as it happens, because staying ahead of this story is what drives me. I need us all to be prepared, so you can count on me to keep the updates coming your way. Now, check this out. These amounts stem from the anticipated daily inflows. The new XRP spot ETFs, which are recently launched by these asset managers for contact, Canary Capital's XRP ETF has a record-breaking debut earlier this month, trading at almost $59 million on launch day and about 25 million XRP at $2.36. Fast forward to today, and XRP is sitting closer to $2.09. But that sparked a question in my mind. I got curious and wanted to explore Franklin Templeton's history a bit. Have they dipped their toes into other crypto ETFs before, or is this brand new territory for them? And if they have launched crypto products, what were the volumes looking like? So I did some digging, and here's the scoop. Franklin Templeton only launched crypto spot ETFs to date. Ticker EZBC. Spot Bitcoin launched in January 11th, 2024. No previously launched Franklin Templeton spot ETFs or other crypto assets. Basically, Bitcoin has been their one and only crypto play so far. That's why seeing them jump into XRP now feels like a genuinely big deal. And look, I'd put money on them adding more assets to their lineup eventually. Here's where the numbers get interesting. Using typical launch date prices to load amidst $20 per share, that implies roughly tens of millions of dollars in first day trading volume, maybe $40 to $60 million. That's what the projections are suggesting we might see. Bitcoin's ETF launch gave us a template with similar figures. Could XRP hit those same benchmarks? Who really knows at this stage? Anyway, Stephen McClurg's been talking about price action, and I want you to hear what he's saying. Let's get right into his commentary. Listen to this.
So when people talk about, what drives price, it's really a function of two things. Bitcoin's the easiest to explain because the function is, okay, what is its relationship to the dollar? And if more dollars are being printed versus a fixed supply of Bitcoin, then obviously Bitcoin goes up in price. The other major factor that's been a greater factor in the early years and less of a factor now, but it's still a strong factor, is access to the ecosystem. So as more and more people are onboarded into having Bitcoin wallets and to use them, whether it's for savings or spending, that network effect actually causes the price to grow because more people are involved in that. It's no different than looking at, say, the Swiss franc versus the US dollar. Singapore dollar or whatever it is has a smaller set of users, so it's not going to be quite as valuable. So as more and more people own wallets, own Bitcoin, are onboarded, it'll have a massive effect. And over time, that effect goes down because the law of large numbers kicks in and smaller percentage of people continue to be onboarded.
Here's something wild that I think is flying completely under everyone's radar right now. About 55 million people hold Bitcoin today. Maybe a bit more, maybe slightly less depending on recent market moves, but that's the rough count. But listen to where this is headed. We're going to see that number balloon to 100 million, 200 million, potentially even 500 million people within the next 5 to 10 years. Now take that growth trajectory and apply it to XRP, HBAR, XLM, and whatever tokens you're backing. Assuming the technology stands the test of time over the next decade, we're looking at an absolute flood of new participants. Tens of millions at minimum, but ideally hundreds of millions pouring into crypto. And what happens then? Popularity skyrockets, demand intensifies, and the available supply gets tighter and tighter. This is precisely why I'm not chasing quick wins here. I'm positioned for the long haul. Remember, we still don't even have clear regulatory frameworks in place across the United States for mainstream companies to dive in. But the second those regulations land and companies get the all clear, they're going to start bundling crypto features directly into products their customers already trust and use daily. That's the real onboarding strategy, not convincing people to sign up for exchanges. Imagine waking up one random morning, grabbing your phone, and finding a software update waiting. You install it, and just like that, there's a native crypto wallet sitting on your iPhone or Android where literally anyone, anywhere can instantly send you Bitcoin, XRP, or stablecoins. That moment, that's the tipping point we're building toward. You'd have to be living under a rock to think Apple and Android aren't balls deep in this technology right now. And that's just scratching the surface. Think about where you spend your money every week. Hitting up Walmart for groceries, browsing Target on your lunch break. Every single one of these retail giants is quietly building out their crypto infrastructure while you're scanning items at checkout. Banks are in the game. Big finance? Already moving. Your credit union where you got your first car loan? Yeah, they're plotting their entry too. Corporate America across the board is figuring this out. And honestly, even that tiny bakery your grandma loves is Googling, how do I accept crypto at night? Meanwhile, us? We planted our flag here ages ago. That's what has me fired up right now. All right, here's where it gets interesting. Franklin Templeton is a massive $1.5 trillion assets under manager, but there's also a more conservative side. Expect decent opening numbers, but know that they will build a base and begin having advisors push the fund. Break that down for a second. Once this launches, thousands of Franklin Templeton advisors are jumping on calls with their clients going, hey, check out what we just launched. It's an XRP-focused product, and here's the 3 things you need to know about what XRP brings to your portfolio. Look, what's really about to happen here is XRP is going to be on everyone's radar. More eyes, absolutely. But I'm talking about something bigger. People are actually going to hunger for this knowledge, want to level up their understanding, the same way you probably started your journey into this stuff, right? And when you've got that kind of crowd flooding in, believe me, things get wild in the best possible way. So we just watched XRP futures on BitMEX absolutely detonate. 2,668% explosion with a 600% jump in one day. And that's not even counting all the chaos happening on other futures exchanges right now. Here's the thing. A sudden explosion in the futures market activity for a digital asset like XRP usually indicates a massive influx of trader interest, rising speculation, and potentially the anticipation of a major catalyst or news event. Now you're hearing this on a Sunday, right? Everything I'm laying out here, all these dominoes, they're about to fall tomorrow, Monday morning. What's lighting the fuse? What's the big moment everybody's positioned for? Grayscale and Franklin Templeton launching on the New York Stock Exchange. Look, this is monumental. The media blitz, the headlines, the press attention, all of it is coming. Now, if you honestly believe a $1.6 trillion asset management giant won't be shouting this from the rooftops, then, friend, we need a reality check here. Monday might just blow the doors off for XRP and every single person hodling it. What unfolds next? That's where it gets juicy. Your guess is as good as mine, but here's the beautiful part. We're buckled in and riding this wave as a crew. And man, I'm absolutely fired up to watch this unfold with all of you. This is evidenced by recent surge in XRP futures volume on BitMEX, which spiked. And yeah, I dropped the big question too. Is XRP gearing up to absolutely rip? But wait, pump the brakes for a second. There's some other key intel you've got to clock right now. Kraken's 24-hour XRP futures and derivatives volume spike frequently reached over 58 to 61 million recently. Binance reported derivatives volume surge for XRP up to 6 billion. Hyperliquid has some movement here too, but nothing notable. OKX and Bybit also saw XRP funding rates and open interest spikes, suggesting bullish leveraged positions were popular among traders. Traders are going all in long on XRP, riding this wave of bullish headlines. And Franklin Templeton and Grayscale, that's only 4 ETFs in the door. We've got 7, 8, possibly 9 more lined up to launch before the month closes out. Things could get absolutely electric here. Plus, you're witnessing LBank, DYDX, and Crypto.com have significant XRP and XRP USD trading volumes, with notable 24-hour changes reflecting sustained activity and volatility. Coinbase reported sharp changes in spotting futures-related flows, signaling interest in XRP futures. The wheels are turning as we speak. Okay, so there's this question that's been rattling around in my head. Who's actually banking with Franklin Templeton? How enormous are we talking? Are these folks even remotely interested in the crypto world? Because look, that's just how I'm wired. I chase down these details. So I went digging into who Franklin Templeton's major clients actually are. Some of these organizations, total blank for me. Ring any bells for you? Let me pull this up for you. Digital Bridge, a global leader in digital infrastructure, investing with approximately $106 billion in assets under management at Franklin Templeton. Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, also known as SIP, one of the world's largest dedicated fund managers in greenfield energy investments, $50 billion under assets under management. Actis, a global private equity infrastructure investment firm, $16 billion. General Atlantic, $114 billion. Lexington Partners acquired Franklin Templeton in 2022. Lexington is one of the world's largest managers of secondary private equity co-investment, with over $55 billion in aggregate commitments to more than 1,000 institutional investors. Okay, hold up. That's juicy stuff. Benefit Street Partners in Alcentra. Both are major alternative credit managers acquired by Franklin. Templeton specialized in direct lending and private credit strategies. $40 billion. Benefit Street Partners, $40 billion and $30 billion in European alternative credit. Then you've got pension funds, endowments and foundations, universities, charitable foundations and nonprofits, insurance companies, major issuers invest through Franklin Templeton for mixed income, sovereign wealth funds, private equity. We're looking at absolutely staggering capital getting ready to pour into this ecosystem. I also wanted to pull up their roster of top 30, 50, maybe 100 institutional clients. There's some crossover with what we just looked at, but trust me, there's new blood here. Global pensions. So let me show you some of the monster pension funds that park their money with Franklin Templeton. Ontario Teachers made the cut. Hey, what's up to everyone watching from Canada right now? Sovereign Wealth Funds, Norway's NBIM, Abu Dhabi Investment, Singapore's GIC. And look, we all know Ripple's already crushing it in the Middle East. Gonna be wild seeing where that connection takes us. Then there's the heavy-hitting insurance companies, Prudential, MetLife, Allianz, New York Life. Add in those Ivy League university endowments, healthcare trust systems, gigantic US and European foundations. Listen, some genuinely bonkers stuff is brewing right now, and we're riding shotgun through all of it. You can't help but wonder when titans like BlackRock and Vanguard decide to throw their hats in the ring. What a time to be alive, people. Seriously, what a time. Oh, and Chad Seingraber threw up this post mapping out XRP's journey to Wall Street icon status. The buzz around XRP right now, through the roof. All right, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to roll a piece of this for you. Listen to this. All right, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to roll a piece of this for you. Listen to this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. Just on a little walk, getting those steps in, doing crypto videos. We have a total of $2.89 trillion in total market cap today. The ETFs, though, at market open on the 21st, which was Friday, $294 million. So that has been the first bit of inflows right here into ETFs, which is interesting to see. The biggest news to come out over the weekend, of course, is the Franklin Templeton XRP spot ETF, which is huge because Franklin Templeton has around about $1.3 trillion of assets under management, which is very significant. Also, shout out to Chad right here putting out the facts. Canary to acquire 5 million XRP on Monday. Bitwise 5 million on Monday. Grayscale 25 million on Monday. Franklin Templeton 15 million XRP on Monday. That is a total of 50 million XRP on Monday because these four funds are live to acquire spot XRP on Monday on the New York Stock Exchange. Grayscale alone, their trust for XRP currently has assets under management $11.6 million worth. People are so scared of the now, thinking only about the price today, not in the next couple of months. You can't think like that. Honestly, you'll get wrecked. And especially don't trade with leverage. Bitcoin is back up to 85,000 US dollars. Ethereum sitting at 2,700 US dollars. XRP is back up, not to where we expect it to be, but it is back up to $1.96 US dollars. Solana sitting at 128 US dollars. Dogecoin also getting an ETF as well, I should say, on Monday, 14 cents. Can't believe there's a meme coin that's got an ETF on Wall Street. Crazy times we're living in. Cardano is sitting at 40 cents. We also have XLM at 23 cents. Yes, November 2025 is literally the worst on record. I wonder if this is on purpose. There's a lot of rebalancing going on in portfolios, that's for sure. And we also have all of these XRP ETFs still to come right now. There's only 4 of them that are approved. Thank you to those that have joined EarnCurve, my spot crypto exchange. Upload your documents, KYC, and I will apply a 10% discount to your trading fees, which is literally the cheapest on the market anywhere in the world. My bots are running. Yes, they're in the negative. I'm not worried. They trade for me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with artificial intelligence. Go join the mailing list as well at earncurveinvest.com. And here is the video on how to set everything up. So go watch it. Any questions, email me on the website. Peace out, bulls. Have a good Sunday.
Okay, this is going to be really compelling stuff, folks. Hit me with your takes in the comments. I'm curious what you're thinking. Being here for this, soaking up the knowledge, diving in, staying hungry to learn and level up, this is a moment we'll look back on. Picture this. Where does all of this land us in a year, 3 years out, 5 years from today? Have you genuinely sat with that thought? We're front and center for the most radical overhaul of our financial system in 50, maybe 100 years. And here's what blows my mind. Everyday investors have never, ever had a crack at owning actual infrastructure in the next-gen financial world. That opportunity is staring us down right now. Capturing that knowledge and actually seizing this window, that's hands down the most vital thing on your plate. Just dedicate an extra 15, 30 minutes daily to wrapping your head around this stuff. Trust me on this, in the next few years, this could completely reshape your health, your day-to-day life, your family's prosperity. Generational wealth is what I'm building toward. Really hoping you're chasing that same vision, folks. See you in the next video.